can I come in straight away, Dave, and ask why you call him the Most High or the Almighty, or do you not call him God or Yahweh, or is there a particular reason?
The reason is because right, so the translations that we've got literally passed through a group of people called the Masoretes, who took out the name of the Most High, because they said, oh no, it's too holy for people to know. They took it out and replaced it with all sorts of other names now, or titles, more importantly. Now, most of the names that they've given this Most High are actually names of fallen angels or other gods, like El, which is basically the name of a fallen angel, which is the same as Jehovah, which I think is a god of mischief, and Yahweh is another. The word God itself is Gadriel, the angel in the garden with Eve. So rather than use one of the manufactured titles that that mean other gods, I'll call him the Most High, which is what he is. The word Elohim was used in the beginning of creation. So the word for God there is Elohim. Now Elohim is a plural. It's a plural word for the word El. Okay. Now when you look up the word El, you'll find it means mighty man, angel, worship as a god with little g. Yeah, they put in the big G, God, but I think that was added later. I think I went through with the way that Paleo Hebrew works. You don't just choose the meaning you want. You put all the meanings together and see what that tells you, that it feels to you. So when you put that together, it means mighty angel worshipped as a god, yeah, or a fallen angel. So yeah, it says, let us make man in our own image. It's talking about the angels, the Els, okay? And when you look at the names of the angels, Michael, Uriel, Raguel, yeah, it's telling you it's about angels. But again, that was one of the words. Well, I said all the names of the Most High were replaced. It makes it difficult because now you can't tell if it's talking about the Most High or it's talking about someone else. Those other angels are the old gods, in all these other cultures, there's always these old gods that people worshipped. Going back to the fallen angels. Fallen angels came down, had sex with women, spawned this other bloodline. This other bloodline mixed with humanity so much that the world had turned wicked, because there's only essentially one man left who was of the bloodline of Adam, same blueprint of Adam, yeah? That was Noah. When Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Now, all the fallen angel DNA got concentrated in Esau, but it was absent in Jacob, which is why now all Jacob's children were chosen. Not because they were particularly special, because they were back to Adam's bloodline. Yeah? I think it's Genesis chapter 3 where it says, I will put enmity between, the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. Okay? Or when it says serpent, it means the angels. Okay? So an angel created the first beings, men and women, males and females. Okay? Before Adam, because this was on day 6, males and females were created, and they were instructed to go forth and multiply, spread out over the world and dominate it. Yeah. Some point after day 7, Genesis 2:7, Adam was created, and he was told to stay in the garden. So you got two different creations, actually by two different creators, because in Genesis 2:7 it says, the Lord God created Adam. So the Lord of the angels created Adam. Right? So the Most High created Adam, the angels created the pre-humans or Neanderthals. Yeah, so two creations, two different creators. Okay. Now, when Adam was created, the angels were told to worship Adam as though they would worship the Most High. And it seems, again, looking at the Quran and other books, it seems that the angel who was the previous governor of earth didn't like it. He said, no, I was here first. You know, I'm stronger, I'm more powerful than this mudman you've created. Yeah, I'm not going to worship him. And he started a rebellion. Okay. Now, the first attack on Adam, right, by these rebellious angels was the story of the apple in the garden. Right, got nothing to do with fruit, right, at all. Right, and the whole book has got nothing to do with anything else but bloodline and you know, relationships. Okay, so the story of the angel in the garden, right? It wasn't a talking snake; it was an angel, right? And if you look in again, one of the books that was taken out, the Book of Enoch, it tells you point blank. It says it was an angel, and even tells you his name, right? Gadriel. Okay, so an angel seduced Eve, and it wasn't about eating apples. It was about corrupting these immortal beings, innocent immortal beings, with this idea of sex, right? So they lose their immortality. So now then, you know, Adam and Eve are not immortal anymore. Plan B, essentially, it's no longer going to be Adam, the immortal governor of Earth. It's going to be Adam's offspring, who are the governors of Earth. Okay, so that led to the second attack on this bloodline. So that was in Genesis 6:4, when 200 angels came down on the earth and started having sex with human women, right? In order to destroy the bloodline, to corrupt that bloodline, right? And it nearly worked. These angels and their offspring, who are called the Nephilim, they mixed with mankind so much and injected their wickedness into mankind so much that the Most High had to wipe the slate clean again, because there was only one man left who wasn't corrupted by this blood, right, who still had the original blueprint of Adam, right, and that was Noah. But Noah had to ended up marrying this woman. It turns out she was of the line of Cain. Long story, but you know, so he married this woman from the line of Cain called Naamah. So Noah's children, Noah's 3 sons, were all corrupted. Okay. A week before the flood, Noah had to find wives for his 3 sons, and the only women that were available were corrupt women. So the Nephilim DNA got the other side of the flood through the DNA of the children. And you'll find that the post-flood part of Genesis is the Most High sifting the bloodlines to get back to the original bloodline of Adam. So out of the 3 sons, Shem was chosen because his was the cleanest blood. And out of Shem's 5 sons, Arphaxad is chosen. And there's, you know, this particular line of people that the Most High is concentrating on. And there's every so often there's a chosen one, right? And you know, I think it went to a guy called Eber, that's where you get the word Hebrew from. And then another chosen one was Abraham, and Abraham was told to marry his half sister, right, Sarah.
Okay. Before we go down all these different names, firstly, you haven't mentioned, talk about fallen angels. You haven't mentioned Lucifer. So is he part of this?
Well, Lucifer is a Latin name, right? The name that was given in the Book of Enoch was Gadriel, right? And Gadriel was amongst the fallen angels. So, you know, the names again, they change when as people spread out and you know, from the Tower of Babel. But you know, we'd recognize the names of these angels, yeah, as Zeus, Apollo, Diana, or Jupiter and Saturn, and or Ra and Anubis, or all the gods of all these other nations. They're the same characters, just with different names. Okay, slightly different backstories. It's the same fallen angels. Yeah.
And also, sorry, interrupting here, because I have these questions. So you also mentioned about Abra as we're going down the bloodlines. Firstly, what are the bloodlines? What race are we talking about here? Because when I talk to Paul English, he will talk about I think 12 or 13 tribes that leave Judah or Judea, whatever it was called in those days. And they go off to various places like the Caucasus Islands, and hence we have the Caucasians. And then he also talks about the Hebrews, or the Hebrides. So is that linked into this story as well?
It is. I'm kind of getting to it.
Right? Okay. Sorry.
So no, that's right. So we're at Abraham, right, at this point. And Abraham was told to marry his half sister, again keeping the blood pure. Okay, Sarah couldn't have children, but she wasn't part of this bloodline plan. So the offspring of Abraham and this Egyptian woman Hagar was Ishmael. Anyway, so Ishmael wasn't chosen because he wasn't part of this bloodline. But Sarah had a child at 90, right? Isaac, and he was chosen because that was the right bloodline. So when Isaac had children, he had 2 twin boys. Something different happened. All the fallen angel or Nephilim DNA was concentrated in the firstborn, Esau. He was wicked. He was, bloodthirsty, cunning, all this stuff, right? So all that fallen angel DNA was concentrated in him, but it was absent in his twin brother, Jacob. So now Jacob was purified. He was back to the original bloodline of Adam, which is why all his 12 children were now clean. They were now the chosen ones. So they weren't chosen because they were, special in any other way than they were the original blueprint that the Most High started with, right? And that's what he wanted to get back to. So yes, just like Paul English says, there were 12 tribes, 12 or 13 tribes of Israel or Jacob, right? But you also had this other tribe called the Edomites, right? The sons of Esau. Now that's the battle that we've been in ever since that time, right? The Edomites were supposed to, because he was the firstborn, he was supposed to inherit the earth from Isaac, but Jacob did instead. So that rivalry, right, is what's been going on for thousands of years. And the Nephilim bloodlines, right, that came from Esau mixing with the other Nephilim bloodlines. So you've got the 12 or 13 bloodlines or tribes of Israel. You've got the 12 or 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, equal and opposite. And that is the battle that's been going on. And it has been a war because the Illuminati, they've been trying to exterminate Jacob's children, right? So that they can inherit the earth by default. But the Most High will not let that happen. He's punishing Jacob because if you read through the Old Testament, Jacob's children entered into a blood covenant with the Most High. Yeah, that's Exodus, right? He entered into a blood covenant, and that covenant was, keep my commandments and you'll be blessed. If you don't keep my commandments, you're going to be punished. And if you go through the story of the Old Testament, you'll see that the Israelites kept messing up. They kept breaking the commandments left, right, and centre. I think they did it sort of 6 times, and the 7th time is outside of the Old Testament. Happened after the Old Testament ended, and they went into captivity, because they went into captivity every time they messed up. So the last time they messed up, they went into the final, the worst captivity ever, and that is written in one of the prophecies given to Abraham. It says, "Know for a surety that your seed will go into slavery and affliction for 400 years." Okay, slavery and affliction. So we can actually figure out where we are. And in the so-called Abrahamic religions, they all branch off directly from the Hebrew scriptures. So the Muslims will look at I think Deuteronomy 18:18, I think it is, and it says, "A prophet shall be raised from among thy brethren," and they'll say, "Oh, that's Muhammad." Okay, the Christians will look at that same verse and say, "Oh, that's Jesus." But it's neither of them. It's actually Joshua, right? And it's obvious it's Joshua, but the religions will say, "No, that is our guy." Yeah, so they create their own book, put it on top, and connect them and say this is all one book, and they weave that religion around it, right? So
all
the
the
Quran goes on top.
Okay, you're saying all the other sacred or ancient scriptures stem from the Bible. The Bible kind of came first, and they've all followed. Is that kind of what we're saying?
Yes, to a larger extent. There is a possibility that there were ancient writings before the flood that were discovered, but they're they're telling you about other things, but that's a whole different story.
Okay.